In news just coming in, a cross-party group of European lawmakers wants Hungary cut off from all EU funds. The MEPs want to put more pressure on Budapest, claiming the government of Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban has allowed the establishment of kleptocratic and oligarchic structures. The lawmakers say they want to protect the financial interests of European taxpayers. Green MEP Daniel Freund initiated the letter and joins us now live from the European Parliament in Brussels. Thank you very much for your time. What sort of practices are our taxes supporting in Hungary?
Well, basically, unfortunately, EU funds are subsidizing the destruction of Hungarian democracy and the rule of law. And we see that ever since Viktor Orban is in power, EU funds are enriching his closest friends and family, but they are then also using that money to buy up the last remaining independent news outlets. They are using these resources to stifle any kind of criticism and opposition.
What sort of examples do you have of structures being changed, of corruption, etc.?
Well, I mean, there is a whole list of corruption cases where family members or Fidesz members have stolen from EU projects. It's basically at this point quite hard to find EU-funded projects where there is not some sort of mismanagement, corruption, or at least that the projects were allocated to mayors, to areas where people more reliably vote Fidesz rather than the opposition. So there is so much going on that, you know, it's so blatant. And Orban's friends and family use that money then to take private jets to the Maldives and build palaces and things like that.
Some funds have already been frozen. What's that accomplished?
So for 2.5 years now, there is some funding frozen. So far, we haven't seen any kind of reforms. There were 17 milestones, reforms agreed between the European Commission and the Hungarian government. To this day, not a single one of these reforms has been achieved. Sadly, the Commission has unfrozen some of the money because Orban was blackmailing the EU on the Ukraine support and the accession procedure for Ukraine, which led von der Leyen to unfreeze 10 of the 27 billion that were frozen at the time. But we say if there are no reforms, if the corruption just continues, then at this point all the funding has to be stopped so that it doesn't go to waste and it's not stolen.
What's the likelihood of that happening?
Well, if you look at the signatures under this letter, this is very broadly supported from the Conservatives, Social Democrats, Liberals, Greens and Left in the House. This is a very large majority in the House here that supported this letter. And we have shown in the past that the European Parliament does not shy away from using all the tools available to create the necessary pressure on the Commission, but also on the national government, to really protect our money, but also to protect democracy and rule of law in Hungary. So we will fight for this very hard.
Could it go even further than this? Could we see Hungary thrown out of the bloc?
I mean, there is no mechanism to eject a member state, and I would not like to see that, honestly, because millions of Hungarians have not voted for Viktor Orban and his government, but they would all suffer from Hungary leaving the EU. We see very strong support, actually, in all polls for EU membership in Hungary, and we actually even see very strong support in Hungary for what we're doing, not giving EU funds to a government that misuses or steals that funding. So I would not like them to be ejected, but I want maximum pressure on Viktor Orban, who is not only stealing our money, but he is also threatening all of our security by constantly putting his veto on Russia sanctions, on supporting Ukraine. And I think that is something that we need to look at as well. I think his veto should be taken away. These are all things that we can do while keeping Hungary in the EU.
Intriguing story. Daniel, Green member of the European Parliament. Daniel Freund, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Bye.